Welcome back to the new adventures of the monad. We ended the last presentation by defining what a globe is and how this globe goes through 7 phases of its development. What happens when a globe has gone from a material state A to the same material state G? The answer is that it has had so much fun that it decides to go round again. One circuit of the chain is called a round. We are told that all 7 globes of a chain exist simultaneously. This is true to a point, but logically you have to start from somewhere. So at the start of a chain, you only have globe A. None of the other globes have been built out. This is my own personal interpretation of the information presented. Some of you who are aware of the writings of Charles Leadbeater may say, but there was a previous chain, so the matter came from there. Did it? Or was new matter drawn from the pool of matter within the envelopes of the planetary logos? What definitely moves from one globe to another, and from one chain to another, are the monads evolving through those globes. But, for argument's sake, let us assume that you have 7 globes already in existence. What we need to be clear of is that they are not all actively engaged in supporting the bulk of the life stream passing through the chain. I say the bulk because there is a residue left behind as the life wave moves through a globe, and an advanced guard moves to the next globe to prepare for the arrival of the main life stream. More on this topic later. It should also be pondered that the whole circus of chains, rounds and globes is not going on just for our benefit. There are 6 other completely independent life streams also evolving through our Earth scheme. For the sake of simplicity, we have one globe in a chain that is active and supporting life, and we have the other 6 which are dormant. When a globe becomes active, it will support the 7 life streams mentioned earlier, as well as many subgrades within each life stream. Eventually, the life on a globe will lessen and life begins to pop up on the next globe, with the caveat of the rest period between each globe. The time span for a globe was given as 700 million years, but this is just an indication that we are dealing with exceedingly long periods. This period of time is called a globe period. The passage of life around all 7 globes is called a round. Therefore, a round consists of 7 globe periods. As was mentioned earlier, completing a round is so much fun that we do it 7 times, cycling from one globe A to globe G and back to globe A. To represent the 7 rounds, we have to draw a spiral. Although I can only draw circles, where a life stream comes in from a previous chain and exits to a new chain after completing the mandatory 7 circuits through all 7 globes. This means we have 49 globes that make up 7 rounds that go to make up one chain. There you have it. Chains, rounds and globes. Explained. Not so fast. There is a lot more that can be said on this matter. Just to reiterate, although the bulk of a chain's life stream is active on one globe at a time, before it becomes dormant, life on that globe does not entirely cease to exist. A nucleus of life is left on that globe, and this serves several important functions, which will be delineated in future presentations. Now, let us look at chains in greater detail. We already know that a chain comprises 49 globes. 7 globes times 7 rounds. This is a chain period. When the chain period is completed, the globes which form it disintegrate, and the matter which composes them is reformed to make 7 new globes. This is how it is described, but it does not make sense to me. If you have one globe in existence and you begin the process of forming the globes of the next chain, how can you use the matter from the existing chain? Something to ponder. One answer to this conundrum is that the globes disintegrate sequentially. Consequently, in the last round of a chain, globe A will disintegrate, building the new globe A in the following chain. It is no longer then present in the existing chain. That would work. These 7 new globes on the following chain pass through 7 rounds of activity precisely as before, and are then broken up, only to be reformed once more into another set of 7 globes. The process takes place 7 times in 7 chains, each consisting of 7 globes, being thus formed in succession and each lasting for its 7 rounds of activity. You should get the sequence by now. Ledbetter tells us that the individual globes which are formed from the disintegrating matter of the preceding chain, although formed of the same ultimate material particles, are not composed of the same grade of matter. You can see this from the diagram that the first chain is formed of 2 globes of 45 matter, 45 4 to 7, 2 globes of 46 matter, 46 1 to 7, 2 globes of causal matter, 47 1 to 3, and 1 globe of mental matter, 47 4 to 7. The second chain descends a step in the order of its matter, so that it has 2 globes of 46 matter, 46 1 to 7, 2 globes of causal matter, 47 1 to 3, 2 globes of mental matter, 47 4 to 7, and 1 globe of emotional matter, 48 1 to 7. This process repeats itself until you finally get to the 4th chain and the appearance of our planet. If you look at the color coding scheme shown on the diagram, you will see that there are 4 lower spiritual globes, 45 4 to 7, 8 unity globes, 46 1 to 7, 12 causal globes, 47 1 to 3, 12 mental globes, 47 4 to 7, 8 emotional globes, 48 1 to 7, and 5 physical globes. Thus, only the 1st and the 7th chains have purely lower spiritual globes, 45 4 to 7. Only the 2nd and 6th have purely unity globes, 46 1 to 7. All but the 4th chain have causal globes, 47 1 to 3. All but the 1st and the 7th have mental globes, 47 4 to 7. Only the 3rd, 4th and 5th chains have etheric globes, 49 1 to 4. And finally, only the 4th chain has a physical globe, 49 5 to 7. It is also worth noting that all chains have causal globes except our own, and now you know why we have the divide we do between the 1st and 2nd triads, and why it is so difficult for us to reunite the 2 halves of our mental envelope. You see, knowing something about this topic feeds directly back into the information presented to date in previous presentations and makes things clearer. Hang on in there. A lot more is to come. From this consideration, it is clear that the mental plane plays a significant part in humanity's evolution. Of the whole 49 globes, 24, or nearly half, are on the mental plane. Hence the appropriateness of the occult definition of humanity as, in quotes, that being in the universe, in whatever part of the universe they may be, in whom highest spirit and lowest matter are joined together by intelligence. End of quote. Another way to phrase this would be to say that in the 7th chain, the highest spiritual is joined to the lowest material by mental matter. the substance of intelligence. The disintegration of the globes into their component materials and their reintegration into 7 new globes at a lower or higher level, as the case may be, is highlighted in the diagram. As has already been mentioned, there is a stasis between any two states of being. In the case of the transition from one chain to another, we have a pralaya, also called an interchain pralaya. The whole series of 7 chains make up a scheme. We can now summarize as follows. 7 globe periods make up a round. 49 globe periods equal 7 rounds, which equal 1 chain period. 343 globe periods equal 49 rounds, which equal 7 chain periods, which collectively equal 1 scheme of evolution. Whose evolution? Not just ours, not just the other 6 monadic streams, but the planetary logos itself. As should be abundantly clear from the number of diagrams that have been presented, we are in the 4th chain of our scheme and therefore at the lowest point of materiality. In this 4th chain, we are on the 4th globe and in the 4th round. This is highly significant and deserves further attention in a later presentation. The 7 successive chains are sometimes spoken of as incarnations of the chain. Chains are spoken of also as planetary chains. The chain may be regarded as a vehicle for the planetary logos, something we will discuss further as well. We may think of the planetary logos reincarnating itself in the 7 successive chains, each chain beginning with the fruits of its predecessor, each handing on to its successor that which is achieved in its own cycle. In the first 3 chains, we may say spirit or life descends into matter. In the 4th chain, spirit and matter are interwoven and form innumerable relations. The last 3 chains are those of upward climbing, at the end of which all will return to the planetary logos to merge into the greater body of the solar logos with the fruits of the planetary logos' evolution. In the next presentation, we look at the bigger picture of the schemes of evolution. Thank you.